Thanks for joining us for KBOI 2 News Midday. I'm Kelsey Anderson. Now to your top 11 stories at 11 o'clock. A sad update on a crash we reported on last week. An infant involved in that crash on I-84 Friday night has passed away. The infant was injured when a 21-year-old driver was rear-ended after driving below the speed limit on I-84. This happened near the Simcoe Road exit. Troopers say the young child was in a car seat. The infant has not been identified. One man is dead after a motorcycle crash in Boise County. 66-year-old Donald Wright crossed the center line while heading north on Highway 21. Idaho State Police say his motorcycle then collided with a pickup. He died from his injuries on the scene. The crash blocked Highway 21 for more than 4 hours. And police are searching for additional suspects in a shooting that left one man dead. Police say this man, Jacob Lynn Marshall, is in custody for allegedly shooting 2 people, killing 1. This all happened Saturday night in Twin Falls. Sheriff's deputies say it was likely a robbery gone bad. 53-year-old Kent Storer died at the hospital from those wounds. Again, police are looking for additional suspects possibly tied to the shooting. Warm weather in the west has killed more than 250,000 sockeye salmon. More than half of this year's population is dying as the fish flow from the ocean to the Columbia River. Federal and state fisheries biologists say water temps in the Columbia River are 5 to 6 degrees cooler or warmer than normal right now. One expert says up to 80% of the population could die. Officials are trying to cool flows by releasing cold water from selected reservoirs. Marine Patrol continues to look for a man presumed to have drowned in Redfish Lake. Over the weekend, 23-year-old Joel Castro Juarez was boating when he jumped in without a life jacket. The cold water quickly overtook him. 2 friends tried to help but were unable to lift him back in the boat. Nissa County City Council members will vote on an ordinance that would prohibit marijuana operations. The Argus Observer reports the ordinance could pass tomorrow if it's unanimously approved. Val and Ontario City Councils have already approved similar ordinances. And heads up parents, the Central District Health Department is offering another back-to-school immunization clinic. This is happening now until 7 o'clock tonight at the Boise office. Costs for immunizations are charged on a sliding fee scale. Appointments are preferred, so you can make one today. Just call CDHD at the number on your screen. That is 372-7450. Crews are continuing to work on micro-sealing in Nampa and Caldwell. Construction will occur through most of the I-84 business loop. It will remain open during the construction, but traffic will be reduced to 1 lane overnight. That process will extend the life of the pavement, and it should take around 5 weeks to complete. Well, the drought in California is creating an early start for picking grapes in Napa Valley, California. So we visited wineries in the Treasure Valley to see if winemakers here are being forced to harvest early as well. Well, the owner of Bittner Vineyards says his crew normally harvests in October, but this year he expects to start pulling those grapes in just 5 weeks. We'll have a more in-depth report on how the weather is affecting local vineyards coming up. Tense moments for a news crew at our sister station in Seattle after someone fired a gun at them. The Como News reporter and her photographer were setting up for a live shot when 2 cars sped past them. Seconds later, the shots rang out. Neither of the crew members were hurt, but they did flee to a nearby house for protection. Police recovered several shell casings and say one home was hit by a bullet. The shooting came just 1 day after another shootout in the same neighborhood. The Republican National Committee has a message for presidential candidates. No more name calling. That directive comes after several candidates have started slinging insults at each other in recent weeks.
I understand it's going to be the nature of any primary for folks to discuss the differences between themselves on policy issues, and I think that's fine. The name calling, however, needs to stop. We've got to remember what Ronald Reagan taught us, his 11th commandment, that thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican.
The RNC didn't mention any candidate by name, but Donald Trump and Lindsey Graham engaged in a back-and-forth feud last week. The committee also reminded candidates to keep their eye on the prize, taking back the White House.